Welcome to the Hollywood Outsider, an award-winning weekly entertainment podcast. On this episode, we are still on sabbatical, but I did want to share a few thoughts on some big entertainment news, like Ted Lasso returning in some form. Yellowstone gets season 6, if you can believe it. Jurassic World Rebirth has a job description, as well as films like Strange Darling, the Crow remake, and director Alex Proyas going after it. Alien, Romulus, and the new season of Only Murders in the Building. Let's get on with the show. Hey, guess what? My name is Aaron Peterson, and if you've never listened before, typically there are some other voices. But it is truly the Hollywood Outsider this week, as John, Amanda, Troy are still on vacation, but I have not quit on you. I am here for you, but also, this is not a normal episode. Don't judge us on this. Those SOBs are out there living La Vida Loca, having their best life, acting like this doesn't need to be done, right? Like we don't need this. No, we need this. We need to do this. So I'm going to enjoy the fact that I don't have a lot of interruptions. I actually get to speak my mind. I can tell you what I think about the stories and situations. It is effective. You know, I started this podcast, so technically I am the original, the OG Hollywood Outsider. Let's go. All right. Remember, you can always find more information at thehollywoodoutsider.com, including reviews. There are reviews up on there. Okay, let's jump right into movie and TV news. And one thing I always try to remember in life is to be curious. Huh? You see what I did there? And I am so curious about this Ted Lasso news, because it's been reported that the UK options have been picked up on Hannah Waddingham, who plays AFC Richmond owner Rebecca Walton, Brett Goldstein, who plays hardman Roy Kent, and Jeremy Swift, who plays Director of Football Operations Leslie Higgins. Phil Dunster, who plays Jamie Todd, looks to have some scheduling conflicts. His options weren't picked up, and what that means is options are picked up when Apple's saying, you know what, we're going to use you. So we're going to pay you for a new season of television, and you can't go do other stuff. So get ready. What's interesting is that so far, the SAG actors like Jason Sudeikis, who basically created the show, helped write the show, it was his baby. He had a dream for 3 seasons, and he fulfilled that dream. His options haven't been picked up yet. We haven't heard about Juno Temple or Brendan Hunt, who plays Coach Beard. So we expect they're going to be next. But the idea being that there is going to be a season 4 of Ted Lasso of sorts. But it could very well be a spin-off. Everybody's talking about it's going to be Ted Lasso season 4 as if it's going to be full-blown Ted Lasso. And some people are, of course, doing well, you know, my sources say that Jason Sudeikis is just going to be there in spots. He's just going to pop up here and there. And I got to say, when you hear that from people that don't probably have any sources, you know what I'm saying? They're just guessing. They're just guessing. There's a lot of that. Daniel RPK. There's a lot of that just throwing darts, right? Just throwing darts, hoping something sticks. One sticks. And you're like, oh man, I knew that. Everybody's been saying this forever, that Ted Lasso's probably going to get a spinoff without Ted Lasso or without him at the front, where they focus on women's soccer or something like that, the women's league, and maybe Roy Kent as the coach and trying to deal with that differential, and Rebecca trying to make that mainstream, those kinds of things. That's what we see happening. Maybe she calls Ted or something along those lines. And if you don't know why this is such a big deal for Sudeikis, they filmed this overseas. He has 2 young kids. He did not want to be away from them any longer. That's the big hang up for a lot of this. It's his kids. So next time us fans are sitting there going, man, come on, Jason Sudeikis, you greedy, selfish son of a bitch. We need more Ted Lasso. We're missing some mustache. Want a little bit of that thicker stash. It's for family, right? That's what we would hope our celebrities would care about. Because many of them do not. So I don't know. I love Ted Lasso. I think it's a great show. It ended where it needed to end. So if it came back, I only want a spinoff. I don't want the same show. I don't want Ted Lasso again. I think it would be great to have Rebecca and Roy Kent. But I do think Coach Beard would, he stayed behind theoretically. So it would make sense for him to be in the mix. And I could see Sudeikis helping with the writing and also getting that exec producer check for sure. But the thing is like, we need to start letting things go. We can't have everything forever. Things from 1982 are coming back, and 1979, Alien was 79, I think. All this stuff just keeps coming back. Like, we need to learn to let things go. We need to move. We need to keep moving forward sometimes. Just stop looking in the past all the time. We got what we love. We can always go back to what we love. Let's get something new and fresh. I mean, if you're going to have the same characters, at least have them do something different. Have them stuck in a different kind of situation. Let's build a new family in that world. I think that would be great. And that's what excites me. If you just want season 4 of regular old Ted Lasso, I don't know that I want that. As a fan, I don't know that I want to go and just basically chance messing up a really good ending. So there's that news. Then you got Jurassic World, right? They're making another sequel, so they're going to a 7th film. And, of course, they've got a title. It's called Rebirth. That's all good, right? Hits theaters July 2nd, 2025. And we finally have a plot description. Here's what it's about. Scarlett Johansson is a skilled covert... I did not write this. Scarlett Johansson is a skilled covert operations expert contracted to lead a team on a top-secret mission to secure genetic material from the world's 3 most massive dinosaurs. When her operation intersects with a family whose boating expedition was capsized by aquatic dinos, they come face-to-face with a shocking discovery. Shocking, I tell you. That has been hidden from the world for decades. I don't know... It's going to be a shocking discovery, right? Maybe one of them can read or write. Wouldn't that be cool? She comes across a dino sitting around with an armchair and some glasses, just reading Jurassic Park. I think that would be a shocking discovery. Anyway, also stars wannabe Blade, Mahershala Ali, and directed by Gareth Edwards. So Mahershala Ali, this is also speculation. Speculation. You know, my sources told me Mahershala Ali actually bought a voodoo doll of Wesley Snipes. I don't know what that's about, but I heard it has something to do with Deadpool. Now, this is again directed by Gareth Edwards, who did the one Godzilla movie where Godzilla doesn't show up until like the last 15 minutes. So I can't wait to see a dinosaur movie with barely any dinosaurs. I think that will be just exciting. I'm stoked. Here's my thing with this. Universal released this elaborate press release, and I mean, I got it. It's long. There's a lot more to it. And there's so much hype. It's ridiculous. And my thing is I don't need any of that. It's a Jurassic Park / World movie. These movies don't need a plot. You could literally have, as I've said many times, Vin Diesel shows up and starts riding dinosaurs around in space, and I'd probably watch it. I would probably be excited to watch it. They don't need a plot. Make it ScarJo wakes up and realizes she needs to get across town for the hot air balloon rally, and 25 dinosaurs are in her way. Can she make it? I'm already riveted, and I didn't need 45 adjectives. These movies don't need to be this complicated. Whenever people say, well, it needs to be a smarter script, I'm like, what are you watching? What are you? It's a dinosaur movie, man. Sometimes it's okay to have fun. We don't need everything to challenge our brain. Sometimes I want to remove it. I don't even want to take it out of my skull. I want to remove my head. You know, it's just, people overthink it. Other news, this is exciting. Now, keep in mind, this episode is going to be fairly short because we come back on September 11th with a real episode, right? Like the real deal. That's when we have our summer entertainment awards because we want a nice vacation because it's been a long year for many of us, work-wise and things like that. So we will be back September 11th with our Summer Entertainment Awards. One thing that is surprising to me is Yellowstone is getting a season 6. Now, I knew they were working on deals with Kelly Riley and Cole Hauser, who play Beth and Rip, right? I don't watch this show, but I know enough about the show because everybody talks about this show, which is great. If you're a fan, you're a fan. Well, I thought they were going to do a spinoff because there are hiccups with continuing Yellowstones because currently I think they have a streaming deal outside of the Paramount Network for the original show, and I think they were trying to get around that. I don't know if they can if they use the same characters. I have no idea how that works, but they are finalizing their deals to take over for this show as proper. So it will be Yellowstone season 6. They're going to take over for Kevin Costner. I assume Beth and Rip are going to take over the ranch. And what you really need to know what that means is Kevin Costner is about to get blowed up. Like, there's no way he's surviving whatever's coming. So I'm not trying to spoiler alert you, but my sources say Kevin Costner is going to die in this this final season of Yellowstone, or season 5 of Yellowstone that is coming out in November. See how I did that? My sources say, right? Because I read and I put together I made an educated guess is really what it is. And that's what you're seeing all over the internet anymore. People keep sending me articles saying, "What did you see this? Somebody got a scoop." I'm like, did they? Because I talk to a lot of PR people and they will tell me that most of these scoopers are just guessing. No one has talked to them. No one is talking to them because none of that, what they're saying is true. They just keep throwing darts. So unless you see it confirmed is the word. I don't want to use that fake news term. I hate that term. But unless you see it confirmed, it is not verified. That's the important thing. But I am fairly certain my sources are correct on this. This mofo gonna die. Because unless he decides to move to Alaska and just hang out there, that's why he's not showing up in season 6. That's what's going to happen to Kevin Costner's character. Sorry. What else is going on? Oh, they're doing a remake of La Bamba for some reason. Hollywood is actually remaking a biopic now. I would love to tell you why, but you already know the answer is money, right? It's cash. I don't know how much money they think they're going to get off a remake of a biopic, but I'm happy for the family of Richie Valens if they wanted this. I think Lou Diamond Phillips already crushed this one, so I would say leave it alone, but they will not. And one thing that I want to talk about before I get to these movies is I am fascinated with this story. So Lionsgate put out a trailer for Megalopolis, right? Which is Francis Ford Coppola's new movie that he financed himself, and he finally got distribution through Lionsgate. It's a big gamble for him, and a lot of people have opinions on him. I'm not getting into that. Is he a good guy? Is he a douche? Whatever. I don't know. I don't care. He's the director of The Godfather. You know that. And several other classics like Apocalypse Now. And they're trying to sell this movie. So I'm just going to get to the story of it, right? So they're trying to sell this movie. They put out a trailer. And in the trailer, they put quotes from the past, allegedly by famed critics such as the New Yorker's Pauline Kael, one of the most famous film critics in history. Quentin Tarantino references her a lot. Village Voices, Andrew Saris, stuff like that. And you know, with like, say, for reference, The Godfather, Kael was quoted as calling the film diminished by its artiness. And then Saris referred to it as a sloppy, self-indulgent movie, right? So the reason why they're doing why they were doing this is they were trying to get ahead of negative publicity for the movie because the reviews were mixed. So they're trying to say, look at movies like The Godfather and Apocalypse Now. Look at the negative reviews they got, and look at our movie over here. This is going to be heralded as a classic in the coming years as well. Get out there and see it. It's an interesting advertising idea. Create negative press or show negative press to build positive word of mouth. And I find that fascinating. Number one, that's a really ballsy choice to take. And it's also, you know, we're doing something different in marketing. I respect anytime you do something different. God, Ryan Reynolds made a whole summer out of just taking a different stroke at marketing. Now, the problem with this is these lines aren't true. They didn't actually write them. So the understanding is they utilize an outside firm to help them with this, and they maybe use some Chat GPT. I don't know. They use some AI. They made these quotes up essentially for this trailer, so they weren't real. So they're quotes. Now I know if you don't do reviews, you don't know that, but whenever I've had quotes in several quotes of my trailers or several quotes of my reviews in trailers before. I was in the John Wick 4 trailer. I've been in several trailers. I've been on posters, that sort of thing. Whenever that happens, just behind the scenes, inside baseball, if you will, because it's going to marketing, they send forth a request to use that quote, even when it's, believe me, they've used a negative quote. Just take it out of context. They have to show the words in the order they're in, but they can leave off the previous words. So it can say, man, this movie sucked, but Bill Skarsgård was great, right? So they could use the Bill Skarsgård was great. That's just how this works. That's how marketing works. That's how legally it works. But when they do that, they have to send you a release and you have to approve it, essentially, because they're going to use it in marketing, it might end up on a box or on a poster, and you need to approve that. It's a very specific kind of marketing, and you have to handle it in a proper way. And apparently they made up quotes. You can't do that. You cannot attribute quotes to people that are real people and they not be real. And they also would theoretically have to get their permission, and that's all in our thing. But this is not a good scenario. You basically, and they didn't own up to it. They were caught and then owned up to it, which is a problem. So they were making this marketing campaign, and then others caught them doing it. I think it was Vulture who started it, and then other outlets started digging because Vulture did. So this entire trailer was fake. I mean, scenes from the movie were real, but the actual quotes that they were trying to hype you up to see, this is going to be a modern American masterpiece, just like Godfather, just like Apocalypse Now, just like every other movie Francis Ford Coppola did before 1985. And, it's just not the case. And they got caught, and they had to retract it. They recalled the trailer. They specifically said, we offer our sincere apologies to the critics involved and to Francis Ford Coppola and American Zoetrope for this inexcusable error in our vetting process. We screwed up. We are sorry. I don't know. It was a different stab at marketing. They obviously went outside the box and they got caught for it. It's just a fascinating dilemma to have. It's a fascinating dilemma for them to have to deal with. And I can honestly say this is a little shocking, because you should vet that. You should verify that. And they know better. They know that. They even said it in writing. And what's funny is, I don't love Francis Ford Coppola. I'm not the biggest fan of The Godfather or Apocalypse Now. I think Apocalypse Now in particular, it just goes way over the top. I mean, it's just so far over the top. It's basically just like falling down a mountain. But a lot of people love that movie. I'm not going to say anything negative about it, but you can quote me. Didn't like it. There you go. Use that on the box. But one thing that I do think is that when you watch the trailer and you take the poor choices out of it, it is an interesting look. We're constantly having discussions about, we need more original work. We need, visually stimulating work. Let's take some chances in filmmaking, even with big budget filmmaking, and I know Christopher Nolan gets a lot of credit in that respect, but there's a lot of other filmmakers out there that are pretty well revered that are taking a stab at it too. And this is a movie that looks cinematically interesting. Okay. I can look at the trailer and yes, I can see this is going to be 3 hours or something of a slog. And I can also see this could be brilliance. This could be artistically stimulating. Visually, it's intriguing. There's a lot of captivating images being shown on the screen. And even though they've done a very terrible job of explaining what the hell the story is about, I've talked to 4 people now who have seen the trailer, and all 4 of them have no idea what this is about. That's not a good trailer. You need to at least cut and give people the idea of what's going on. Otherwise, you have a Cloud Atlas situation, which is, Cloud Atlas was a movie the Wachowskis did, which I really liked. I thought it was a very, very good film. And it bombed. And a big reason for that is, my opinion, the marketing. It was too confusing to understand what the hell this thing was about. It's a very interesting movie, and it's taking chances, and it's doing something original, and it's very bleak but fascinating. And also uplifting. I mean, it just like those different emotions throughout the film, and Tom Hanks gives a great performance. There's a lot to that movie, but the marketing had no idea what this movie was. It's obvious they had no clue how to market it, and it came across as kind of like a mess. And I think you're going to get that with Megalopolis if they don't figure out how to market that to people, because if 4 out of 4 people have no idea what the hell this movie's about. Those are my sources. Sorry. This continues to be funny to me because I'm tired of people sending me articles saying, did you see this? This is confirmed. I'm like, it wasn't confirmed. It was some scooper on Twitter, on X, who threw a dart, made an educated guess That's what those are. 99% of the time, those are just educated guesses. And when they get one right, they're like, see, I had a source. They just want clicks. They just want clicks. I've thought many times about just doing that. I just can't in good conscience. I can't. But I mean, it would really boost the show a lot. So I'm thinking maybe I should. Maybe I should start making those. I have technically made them because I said when Ted Lasso ended, it'll probably come back without Ted Lasso in a major role. So if that happens, I guess my sources were right? Question mark. Oh. So before I go into reviews, how's your summer going, guys? You doing well? You having a good time? Do anything fun? I went to Alaska. On a cruise, Seward to Vancouver, BC, and stopped at several ports along the way. Took a magical train ride. If you ever get a chance, from Anchorage to Seward, there is a magical train ride, the Alaska Railroad, where you can take the top car. It's panoramic, right? So you can see all around you, and you go through the Alaska wilderness. So if you are an outdoors person or you love nature, that kind of thing, it's one of the coolest trips I've ever taken, and that train ride is worth every cent. There you go. Just sharing that, and I hope everyone had a wonderful summer. We're wrapping it up, coming to the end, getting ready for a little fall TV, fall movies, horrors coming. Halloween is around the corner. I'm so excited. That's the holiday I wait for. I know people love Christmas, and that's cool. Go Santa. But I like Halloween a lot. Not the recent trilogy, just the holiday. Now, that last movie was just garbage. What the hell? It's just like Godzilla. Well, let's make a Halloween movie without Michael Myers till like the last 10 minutes. Okay, sure. Great idea. Also, Patreon. Our show is independently funded. You want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/The Hollywood Outsider. And there is a new episode this week with my fellow hosts. So they actually showed up for that one, right? They were available for that one. But no, seriously, everybody's kind of very, very busy. Troy, right now, as I record this, is on a bike-a-thon or something, like going several hundred miles on his bicycle for the weekend, for Labor Day weekend. Insane! Because they have cars and trains. I just talked about trains. They have cars, trains, planes, automobiles. Okay, so I want to discuss a few movies that I have seen recently that are in theaters now that you could go see or choose not to. One of them being Strange Darling. I think this is one that I should mention first. It's a small independent movie. It's a 6-chapter story told in non-linear fashion, revolving around a one-night stand with a possible serial killer. That's all I'm going to tell you about it. I don't like ruining movies for anyone. But this is one where I was hearing a lot of hype, and a lot of times when you get a lot of hype, it either hits or your expectations are too high, and it just becomes underwhelming. This one hit my expectations, exceeded them. Now, I will tell you, I knew what was going on as soon as the credits rolled. I was not surprised in that respect. A lot of people are saying it's the most twisty thriller ever. I don't feel like that. I feel like it was I understood it pretty quick. What I will say is sometimes when you see chapter breaks, right, where things are told in a non-linear fashion, and if you don't know what I mean by that, think Pulp Fiction, where you start in different places of the story and kind of connect by the end of the movie. So you're seeing the end, or you're seeing the middle, and you're seeing, it's kind of all over the place. This one does that, and it's for a very specific reason, and it works very, very well for the intent of the movie, for the story that they're telling. And it stars Willa Fitzgerald as the lady and Kyle Gallner as the demon. Now, Willa Fitzgerald, you know her from Reacher. It's probably the most prominent. She was on the Scream series. She was in Reacher. She was just in The Fall of the House of Usher. Extremely talented actress. Very versatile. Has a lot of range. Kyle Gallner, wasn't as familiar with him, but he does a great job here too. He has to carry a couple different faces in this movie, and I think he wears them well. The thing is I can't tell you much about it, because if you are surprised, I sure don't want to be the one who ruins those surprises. So I will tell you, it is kind of a spin on the Final Girl syndrome. Final Girl being the last person to face a killer in a horror movie or a thriller, and it's that kind of scenario. And again, Kyle does an excellent job. Both of these performers make the movie, and it is riveting. I thought it was riveting, and it's driven so much on performance, but the story is also entrancing, really. Now, Kyle, he has a lot to play with, but the movie is made by Willa Fitzgerald. I can't say enough about her performance. She is all over the map. It was such an emotional, captivating performance that she gives. And all throughout the movie, there are several moments where she either kind of pisses you off or breaks your heart, or you're just like, I am so on board with her. And then, you just go up and down from there. And it concludes in a very, very long one take near the end that I found fascinating and excellent. Like, it just through and through, this is an extremely well done thriller. It is one that you should go in knowing as little as possible about. It's called Strange Darling. Again, Strange Darling. And it gives me a director to get excited about. J.T. Mulner wrote and directed this film, and I was a fan by the time the movie ended. I became instantly a fan. I want to see what he does next. I'm excited about what he does next. And I encourage everyone to go in blind and then see this in a theater, because we can't keep saying we want more original movies if we're not willing to go and see them. And the theater makes a big difference over streaming. I know people don't like to hear that, but when movies are successful in a theater, more of those kinds of movies get made. That's just a fact of box office. So if you are so inclined, if you're looking for a good movie to see this Labor Day weekend, Strange Darling is one to check out. Also worth your time, I was pleasantly surprised, is Alien Romulus. Alien Covenant was atrocious. That was bad. I mean, that was terrible, right? They just did everything wrong in that movie. I mean, I have no idea how any of those idiots made it out. I'm sorry. I can't remember who made it out alive and who didn't, but I can't believe any of those idiots made it that far in space. Honestly, I think their spaceship probably would have left the door open or something as soon as they left Earth's atmosphere. They would dead because they were idiots. Like, everybody in that movie was an idiot. Anyway, thankfully, Fede Alvarez somehow understands what an alien movie is way more than Ridley Scott does. It's crazy. And he brings this back to life. He brings this franchise back to life. Again, we're going back to the past, right? Like, so it's been about 45 years since the original. Jesus. And we're going back to the past, but we're bringing this back to life with Alien Romulus. And Kaylee Spaney takes the lead as Rain, this miner on a desolate planet who is desperate to leave and find some sunshine, right? That's what the goal is. Find a little sunshine. And when she's there, she takes with her brother, who's an android named Andy, played by David Johnson. And they are joined up with some friends of theirs, Tyler and Kay and Navarro and Bjorn. And what they're doing is they're going to this abandoned International Space Station that they found, essentially. And they believe that there's some hyperpods on there. So they can take these pods, sleep their way back to sunshine, get away from this mining planet that they're trapped on. Good deal. Well, you and I know that the movie is called Alien Romulus, right? So we're pretty sure there's going to be a face hugger on this thing. And there are. It is so well done. The performances, I'll start with the performances. Kaylee Spaney is essentially the lead. And I think she does a wonderful job. I was a little disappointed with Isabella Merced. I think she's a very talented actress who's been in several things in recent years. I wish she had a bigger part in this. I mean, she has a role, but it's kind of a small role. But Kaylee Spaney, she was in Civil War recently. Just a great up-and-coming actress. She does a very good job of taking over the mantle for Sigourney Weaver, if you will, in that respect. And David Johnson as Andy was also fascinating. He's giving a whirlwind performance because he's all over the map. And when it first starts, you think it's a little much and it's a little excessive, but he really wins you over and it becomes captivating. It really, really does become captivating. Now, the production is very much a hodgepodge of Alien and Aliens, right? There's bits of both. There's horror and there's action. There is a lot of gore. There is androids doing weird shit. It's all here. There's also a very groan-inducing chance at a one-liner that does not work. It really took me out of the movie. That was one of the, like, you're doing so good. Don't do this. And they did it. Outside of that, this thing fires on all cylinders. It really, really works as an alien movie. And I didn't do a score for the last movie. Holy shit. Strange Darling. If $10 is the full price of admission, I give that one $8. I give this one $7.50. This is very much an alien movie that I wanted to see. I don't want whatever the hell creation of Earth nonsense bullshit that Ridley Scott tried to throw in Prometheus and Covenant. Because that would have been interesting if you had more characters doing smart shit. I actually like Prometheus quite a bit. Minus the Charlize Theron cannot run diagonally. She can only run the exact direction that the ship is rolling toward her at, which is stupid. But I like that movie way more than Covenant. I hated Covenant. Covenant was a terrible film. Terrible, terrible. It was a dumpster fire of epic proportions. This is good. This brings it back to life. I would love to see Fede Alvarez, who did the Evil Dead remake, who did Don't Breathe. He is a very talented horror director. He does a lot of wonder with practical effects. There is some CGI in here. There is some cameos. There are some Easter eggs. And just know that there is a character you might think is very familiar, but it's actually a different character, just similar. And I found that well done because they respected the estate of the actor. It's all around. If you are an Alien fan, I'm not going to go through and explain everything, but essentially these are monsters on a spaceship that are trying to, repopulate and kill. That's essentially what they do, right? They repopulate, they harvest, they feast. That's what they do. And you do get a look at a new version of an alien, which I thought was really exciting. So there you go. Check that out. Alien Romulus. That's one I think is worth seeing in a theater. You definitely should if you could. Then we have The Crow. Caw, caw, bang, fuck, I'm dead. That's the box office performance, not the quote from the movie. That's terrible. All right. Well, Eric Draven and his girlfriend Shelley are viciously murdered, and he is resurrected for revenge. If you've never seen the 1994 classic where Brandon Lee lost his life, directed by Alex Proyas, that film in particular is one that is worth revisiting. It is beautifully shot, epically scored. The soundtrack is one of the best of the 90s film soundtracks, and Brandon Lee gives a very, very nuanced, heartfelt performance as Eric Draven, a guy who is just broken but determined to set the wrong things right when he's brought back from the dead, because essentially the power of the crow returns you from the afterlife to give you a chance to make this, to even the score. And that film had an excellent villain, one of the best villains in film history, if you ask me, top dollar, who's played by Michael Wincott. He is so underrated in film today. But anyway, this is about the new one. I can't just lament about the past, right? Move forward. So this is a remake of this. And I will say, I will give them credit. They did try to do some different plot points. Like they went a couple different ways. It isn't an absolute retread of that film. Top Dollar is not a part of it. The reason that they're murdered is completely different. You have a little more culpability on the part of Shelley in terms of what happens to her in a way. It's interesting because I always say, if you're going to remake a movie, don't do it the same way. Do it different enough so it stands on its own. And I do think they did that. I do think the script here did do that by Zach Balin and William Joseph Schneider. They did separate it from that film. And it's directed by Rupert Sanders. He did Snow White and the Huntsman. He did Ghost in the Shell. He did an episode of Foundation. My thing with Rupert Sanders is he hasn't done anything that popped. He's done very average work. Very, very average work. And unfortunately, I think it shows here. My problem with this, and I really, really tried to go into this movie fair, because I adore 1994 version. I don't need this version. But as a critic, when you go in and you review a film, you really have to, it's kind of like a thing you have to mentally train yourself for. You have to separate your feelings and go in and watch the movie that the filmmakers gave you. No expectations. Watch the movie that the filmmakers gave you. And that's what I did with this. And honestly, there are moments that I really enjoyed it. There is an elongated scene in an opera house that I think was one of the best set pieces of the summer. I thought it was absolutely great. Everything around it, though, had the biggest problem. It wasn't that it was absolutely terrible. It wasn't that performances were awful. I thought actually Bill Skarsgård, who plays Eric Draven, aka the Crow, did everything he could to make this movie come alive. Minus a really, really terrible choice for a haircut. FKA Twigs, who plays Shelley, really less interesting. I mean, she's new to acting, so I don't know if there's still a learning curve there. I don't think she did as well as we got in the flashbacks in the original movie, obviously. But just, she didn't do she didn't have a strong enough presence to win me over to why he's so determined to avenge her in that respect. I'm just being honest. And the other acting problem, oh my God. You have this, I don't know. I hesitate to speak of what kind of character Vincent Rogue is, but he's played by Danny Houston, aka generic villain number 5. He's been in so many movies as the villain, was a Wonder Woman, and he's just a guy that is constantly popping up as villains in movies. And like he was in X-Men Origins Wolverine. He's been in several of them. And I just find him boring. And that's the problem with this entire movie. It's boring. You have a villain who is extremely boring. You should be just captivated by him, and you're bored senseless. And then you have a story that is interesting. I honestly, there's like a whole separation where you have a ferryman world where Eric Draven spends some time as he's learning and understanding his new powers, where he can't be killed and stuff like that, and how love propels him. These sorts of things. Like you have this limbo world, if you will, and a ferryman who guides him. Like that's an interesting world. Like there's a lot of interesting dynamics to this, and it's boring. It's paced terribly. There is just you languish. I mean, I feel like I'm in limbo for half the movie, right? Like I'm just, God, do something. Something happen, and you don't have to have constant action. I am not saying that. There are so many movies, A Few Good Men has like no action. The pacing is perfect. You're watching it. You're riveted the whole time. It's very Strange Darling does not have a ton of action, but it is thrilling throughout. You are constantly involved in what's going on. It's not here. It's just not here. This should have been tightened up. This should have been written much better. There's a lot of hokey dialogue and hokey plot points. The ending is trying to go a different way. It's trying to create something different. I mean, I agree you have to kind of let logistics go in a movie like this, because we're talking about, you're limbo world, and you have a ferryman, and you've got this guy who comes back from the dead. He's invincible. He's basically, God, and no one can kill him, and that sort of thing. Like, I get that, but the specific way the film ends makes no sense based on everything that happened, unless we're in a multiverse. And it just became like, why? There's so much potential here. There was potential to make a movie where I wasn't thinking about the original in this movie. I was watching this movie, and I thought that was great. That was a pleasant surprise. And I'm serious. That opera scene is fantastic. It's just so well done and riveting and exciting. And you finally get it's really like the full power of the Crow on display. And you everything around it. It's just like, how if you have a book and you have an exciting chapter, and then everything else is just blank pages. That's what it felt like. You have this one section where it's well done, so well done that it shows the potential of what this could be, and then nothing else happens. That's the problem with this version. People are going to trash it because they wanted the 1994 version. That's not the reason that this didn't work. They tried different things. There's really not much in here that makes it similar to the original, other than there's some eye makeup at some point. That's it. Otherwise, this is a completely different story. The characters are completely different. It is polar opposite of that original film. It is doing its own thing. I respect that. It just didn't do it well. That's the problem. So with that, my score on this one, if $10 is the full price of admission, I give it $3.50. And man, there was some serious potential. Bill Skarsgård should not be faulted for this film. He did everything he could to make this work, minus insisting he had a different haircut. The haircut is bonkers. Now, there's one other thing I want to point to. The director of the original film, Alex Proyas, I'm friends with him on Facebook. So I have nothing but respect for the work he did on that particular movie. Maybe not Gods of Egypt so much, but that particular movie. He has been out there trashing the movie in social media and kind of relishing the bad reviews in the box office. And I can see his side of it, right? He was a director. He very much cared about the legacy of Brandon Lee. He had to, watch this man die, so to speak, and feel like he's ultimately responsible for his death. If you didn't know, Brandon Lee died making the original Crow. But in my mind, trashing another filmmaker, another film, and ergo all the filmmakers behind it, he knows more than anyone. It is a culmination of people that are just trying to do good work, whether it works or not. I just don't see any joy in reveling in something's failure, okay? This is a time where the less said, the better you look. You don't need to say anything. Everyone knows already that this was a colossal failure. You don't need to say all these things. You don't need to take joy and stomp all over the corpse of this particular movie. You don't need to. They're already feeling it. Box office failed. The actors are already feeling it because, it wasn't received well and the reviews weren't good. They're already feeling it. Why? What kind of joy? Like, to me, that's just it's kind of being an asshole. It's kind of being an asshole. We can just call it like it is. I like your work. I don't like your attitude. Clean it up. I'm going to leave on a positive note. Have screened the first 7 episodes of Only Murders in the Building. Zaz was taken out. They only give us the first 7, I guess, so we don't spoil the next 3 or say our sources told us. Zaz was taken out at the end of the last season, and our trio has to solve the murder while a movie is being made about the podcast that is about these murders that always happen in this damn building. And we have Eugene Levy, Eva Longoria, and Zach Galifianakis taking on the movie versions of these 3 bumbling sleuths. It's a fun season. There is a cameo explosion. Cameos galore. Every episode has some new actor where you're like, holy shit, what? Who's that? What? Like, I don't know if Steve Martin and Martin Short and Selena Gomez just called in every favor they have for this season or what, but it's a very entertaining season. There's a lot going on. It's a lot of fun. For a show that's 4 years in, I'm still enjoying it, even though it's wild that there's so much death around this particular building, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Keep killing people off, man. Give it a couple more years. I could get a couple more seasons out of this trio. I think they are a lot of fun. Steve Martin, Martin Short, Selena Gomez work well together, and it's just a lot of fun. It's on Hulu. If you've never watched it, season 4 has started airing. I think the first couple episodes are out, so just go watch that and just start from season 1 if you've never seen it before. It's a lot of fun. So that's a recommendation. So there you go. Strange Darling. Recommend. Alien Romulus. Recommend. The Crow. Yeah, it's a movie. And then Only Murders in the Building. Recommend. There you go. I gotta get like a fresh thing. What's a whole stamp of approval? You guys tell me. Hit social media and tell me what would be a good icon for a positive review for the Hollywood Outsider, for a Ho stamp of approval, for the fresh symbol, if you will, for Ho. What would it be? Be as creative as you want. Doesn't necessarily mean be as dirty as you want. You know what I'm saying? I know some of you are already thinking like, well, when you say Ho, do what you got to do. Send some ideas. I'd love to hear them. And what else have I seen? I think I've been watching a lot of stuff. I saw The Union with Mark Wahlberg and Halle Berry, and essentially Halle Berry is a spy who brings Mark Wahlberg in to help deal with the case. Very Central Intelligence, with The Rock and Kevin Hart, if you saw that one, but a little bit more romantic, although I do think Kevin Hart and The Rock totally want to have sweet, sweet love together. It was actually, for Netflix original, it wasn't bad at all. It was quite enjoyable, I thought. It very much felt like an algorithm movie for them. I'd give it a 5. I don't think it's great, but I would watch them do another one. It was interesting enough to, throw some time away. Oh, and I want to mention the Wyatt Earp and the Cowboy War. Okay. So this is a weird thing that's on Netflix. It is a documentary, but it's also a drama series. They couldn't decide which way to go, or they're trying to make something new, but it looked like they couldn't decide which way to go. Like they were starting to make a TV show, realized they had some really cheesy actors, and really didn't have the budget. Like they had the Kmart budget. They didn't have Walmart budget. I don't know, like they did. And so they said, you know what, let's just have some of the clips of the show, and then we'll have Ed Harris narrate this thing and go over the entirety of Wyatt Earp and the Cowboy War, and got most of it right. I know because I just did a ton of research on this whole scenario for Inspired by a True Story. Excellent podcast, comes back in October. But we had a Tombstone episode, so I researched the hell out of that, so I know that whole story. And I was looking forward to this documentary that goes through it. And you should listen to that, by the way. Inspired by a True Story. Listen, subscribe. New episodes coming soon. This was a weird concept because you actually had what seemed like a 6-episode story that I would have been interested in. I mean, I saw the Tombstone movie, but I would love to see this told in its full, and you get the full scope of like when things happen and the actual vendetta ride and all that kind of stuff. Instead, they have this collection of ideas. You have the performances, basically they're acting out the events like a TV series, but you have Ed Harris narrating. So it kind of goes back and forth. You get a scene, and then you get a bunch of narration, and you watch the actors do stuff, and then you get another full scene, and then you get Ed Harris. It was interesting. I watched all 6 episodes, so I can't say I didn't like it. I liked it enough. I just thought it was a weird idea, but I give them credit for coming up with a new idea. Could it be done better? Yes. But it also taught me I really want like a 6-episode series of this. I would love a limited series like covering this whole thing. Can't Yellowstone do some shit like this? Like that would be fascinating. Do that. Would love that. So I recommend checking it out if you're a fan of the Old West or that history. And again, it is Wyatt Earp and the Cowboy War on Netflix. I'm not giving it a score. Okay, I'll give it a score. I'll say 6. I enjoyed it. I mean, I made it through the end, and anyone who's listened for any amount of time knows if I didn't like it, I would not finish it. I am good to quit. All right, this is Aaron Peterson again, saying thank you for listening. I hope this was worth your time. And look how much shorter these episodes are when it's just me. Huh? Maybe that's what I'll do from now on. Really, just get into the nitty-gritty of the Hollywood outsider. Because no one will ever question me. I can live in an echo chamber, and that's what we like to do these days in America. Yeah! On all sides. Don't you point your flags at me. All sides. No, that's it. Everybody, go have a wonderful rest of your summer. Come back on September 11th for our Summer Entertainment Awards. Can't wait to talk to you then. Thanks for listening. And remember, the next time you head to the theater or stream comfortably on your couch, buy popcorn.